Hey guys, Dan here with Battlefield Curator. I've got a trench gun, or what is officially known as the Model 1897 Riot Gun in bayonet configuration. Today we're going to do a series of tests to see what its combat effectiveness really was. Now, when we take a closer look at this thing, you might say to yourself, wow, this was probably designed by some genius. Well, yeah, the Winchester 1897 shotgun was the design of none other than John Moses Browning. So let's test out this shotgun here on some big jugs and see what kind of damage it does at 10 yards. All right, well, you could see like down here where some pellets went through there in the bottom, and it just kind of blew the bottom out. Pellet went there on the top, pellets came out the back. This one took the cap off there. And this one here, yeah, it really did some damage to this one. Blew out the whole back side of here, the side of it, where it got hit. Took quite a few pellets. So yeah, wouldn't want to get hit by that thing. You gotta remember that the 1897 Riot Gun was adopted by the US military, and it was first used in combat during the Moro Rebellion, which was just after the Spanish-American War. It was also noted to be highly effective against enemy combatants who were doing certain types of mind-altering substances that could take pain and not feel it. These combatants would also tie their arms up and tie their legs up so they didn't bleed out as fast when shot. Now, some U.S. forces noted that shooting these combatants with .38 caliber revolvers was ineffective, even after a whole cylinder. But what was effective was this 1897 trench shotgun. The trench gun was also used during World War I, where it famously got its name trench gun from. Now you can see that there is a bayonet lug there, and that would hold a M1917 bayonet. And the heat shield there is to protect the user's hands if he had to go in close and use that bayonet. That way he isn't touching that really hot barrel that he probably just fired all his rounds out of. Now, in World War I there was trenches, and it was good for those close quarters engagements in the trenches. But what about the distances? You're talking some distances through no man's land could be 500 yards or something. Well, let's test out the shotgun on this target back here at 100 yards and see if we can even hit the guy. Maybe we can hit one of these water bottles too and see if we can get some penetration. I got some Olin Corporation 12 gauge double aught buck. We're gonna use it in this trench gun. This is actually an original 1897 long shotgun, which was cut down to trench configuration by its previous owner. All right, I'm going to aim a little bit above the target just to see what it'll do here. Check it out. Well, at 100 yards, look at that. Only 3 pellets hit this whole big wide sheet of paper on this almost man-sized target here. But did not hit the guy. So, yeah, trying to shoot somebody at 100 yards with 1 buckshot pellet might not do the trick. Let's shoot 4 more and see if we can actually hit the guy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to aim for his torso area, and then the last 2 shots I'm going to aim a foot above his head. Let's go see what that looked like. Those 4 shots, they probably just scared him. None of those shots actually hit the guy. You can see that the shots landed, pretty much hit all around the guy, but none of them actually hit him. I guess you could say that maybe that hit close to his hand. Maybe that nicked his helmet. There's a shot right there, probably hit the top of his helmet. So he's pretty scared, but unscathed. So that's 5 total shots on this target from 100 yards, and he's still standing. All right, let's try 1 shot from 50 yards. That did it. All right, at 50 yards here, you can see that there's a few shots right there. There's one that hit the guy's hand, one that went a little bit to the right there, one that went way right. And did we get any other hits on him? Oh yeah, we got one right there in his leg. So we also got one on the bottle here. So we will see what that penetration looks like at 50 yards on this bottle. At 50 yards, you definitely see that the pellet went all the way through the bottle here. And that's your exit. Okay, so maybe it's not as devastating of a wound. Might not be as devastating of a wound. But it was enough to go through this much water. So I'm going to go ahead and say that the target is still there, and he only got hit in the hand and hit in the leg. So let's say he's moving closer with a big old spear or machete or something, and he's getting ready to pulverize us. Let's see what this shotgun could do at 25 yards. All right, aiming center mass. Oh yeah, that killed him. He's got a shot to the face, a couple shots there in the torso, more shots in the hand, and yeah. So yeah, 25 yards is the ideal range for a trench gun. At 50 yards, you're probably gonna cause some damage, especially with multiple shots. And at 100 yards, you'll probably scare him. So as we mentioned, the 1897 Riot Gun was chosen by the U.S. military for those close quarters engagements, starting off in the Philippine insurrection. Now, World War I is where most of this shotgun gets a lot of notoriety because of its use in trenches. All right, next scenario. Let's say I jump into a trench, and those 3 bad guys looking at me. How fast can I take them out with my trench gun hip firing? Let's find out. Dang it, that's a little harder than it looks, jumping into a trench with a hip-firing shotgun. I got 2 of those guys. I got one in the foot, and I missed one of my shots. But this guy is unscathed. Well, let's try that again. So that shotgun jammed a little bit, but we got all the shots here on target. And yeah, it's a lot easier doing it the second time, I guess. But cleared that trench. That was pretty fun. I'm going to try it a 3rd time, and hopefully it doesn't jam up this time. I'd like to thank c&rsenal Ammo for also being a video sponsor. If you like shooting military surplus weapons, go check out their website. They have a lot of different types of ammo for your military surplus guns. So yeah, let's try out a slug in here. This is c&rsenal Ammo, copper hollow point slug here. Let's check it out. Look at that. So much for that water bottle. It is nothing left of it, really. Yeah. I don't know where it went. But there's lots of little pieces of it everywhere. Yes, there's more pieces of it over here. Well, what an awesome piece of history, the M1897 Riot Gun, aka the trench gun or trench shotgun. These things are a blast to take out to the range. They're very historical. If you find an original, they're very hard to come by. And, you know, if you have the bayonet lug attachment on there and you have a bayonet for it, that's even better. But a lot of times you'll find some of these like reproduction ones or like Norinkos. I've held a Norinko trench gun before. I don't think it's the same. Definitely not. It's not the same piece of history. So yeah, these shotguns are quite awesome to take to the range. They will turn heads if you go to a public range. I took this to a turkey shoot just to see what it would do, and just, cross my fingers. Didn't do that bad, but, it got a lot of attention because everybody knew what that was. Everyone was like, oh, that's different. That's a historical piece. So, got to share a little bit of history about it to them, and they enjoyed it. And I definitely enjoyed shooting it and sharing that history with them. So I did a lot of shooting it today, and looks like I've got a lot of range cleanup to do. So if you like this kind of content, be sure to pulverize that like button and subscribe if you haven't. And as always, be sure to learn history and curate history. Make it a great day.